Got a busy hour ahead. Deliver us from evil.
Yeah.
Sean, good to have you.
Hey, Neil, how are you? By the way, I love how you say Wall Street's closed, but we're open.
Absolutely. We're here, Sean.
We're here.
We're here.
Yeah, no, the book is out tomorrow, Neil, and thank you. I think you got the first copy. So
it was a great read, Sean. I don't want to sound disingenuous. You do look like a Kennedy on the cover, but that's hardly the issue here.
Well, I can't smile if the topic is evil.
Neil,
I
know. But it's interesting. You make a couple of interesting points here, and one is this fixation on things economic. At least in this election year, I'm extrapolating from that. We're missing a bigger point. What's that bigger point?
Well, look, Neil, the economy is turning around. Traditionally, peace and prosperity drive elections. You know this as well as anybody. One of the reasons I think that Republicans really need to focus in on what's going on internationally, they have got to ensure every American that we get to continue to pursue our dreams and prosperity and everything we want in life. And I make the case in this book, liberalism and modern-day liberalism, it's like they become unhinged. We have presidential candidates, Dennis Kucinich, saying that the president is authorizing the bombing of civilians. You have people like Ted Kennedy saying the war was manufactured in Texas for political gain. Al Gore losing it the other day the way he was, suggesting the president had preordained the attacks before 9/11 in Iraq. And I think I have never, to the extent that we are seeing and witnessing how safety and security is being politicized, it's unprecedented, and it's scary because there's so much at stake.
But you take another leap from there. You say that the Democrats risk being the modern-day appeasers, and I'm quoting from the early part of your book, Sean, where you say, every great champion of freedom in the modern era has had to overcome a prominent voice of appeasement. For Winston Churchill, there was Chamberlain. For Ronald Reagan, there was Jimmy Carter. Today, George W. Bush faces the modern Democratic Party. What do you mean?
The evidence of that, Neil, is I have all the quotes of Bill Clinton in 1998 when he went out there, and I can do you my best Clinton impression, when he said, earlier today I ordered the bombing of Iraq because he wanted to stop their nuclear, their chemical, and their biological weapons programs. Not one of these Democrats that are out there daily harping on the president, accusing him of lying, attacking him the way they are, not one of them demanded that we vet out the intelligence that Bill Clinton used to bomb them. John Kerry, I have him on the record from 1990 straight on through to 2003, recognized that Saddam was evil, had weapons of mass destruction, needed to be removed. The only time he's against him is when George Bush does it. That tells me that he has politicized one of the most important issues in our time, which is national security. And that is why the subtitle of the book is Defeating Terrorism, Despotism, and Liberalism. If we are going to politicize the issue of national security in a post-9/11 world, and we're not united, we are going to be defeated. And that's a scary thought.
But let me ask you about this. You know, obviously John Kerry took up momentum, even post the printing of your book here. But you do go over all the Democratic candidates at the time. And one of the things you say about Kerry, Sean, you say, I don't believe that simple military service renders anyone immune from criticism when it comes to foreign policy, and especially to as critical a challenge as the war on terror. So you're arguing that Kerry, despite his military record, wouldn't necessarily be a threat to this president.
Kerry is a war hero. I mean, let's give him credit where it is due. His service to this country is admirable, especially service. I wrote about it in my first book, Neil, for a war that he didn't believe in. Now, with that said, Kerry has voted for 27 of the most major military systems we are now presently using. He's against the MX missile, the B-1 bomber, the F-15, the F-16, the Patriot air defense system, the Pershing IIs. While Ronald Reagan was confronting the evil empire, he was supporting a nuclear freeze. John Kerry voted against 90% of the intelligence funding for the CIA. He released an 1,100-page report accusing the CIA of all sorts of atrocities. If he had his way, we would not be as safe as we are, having had Ronald Reagan as president.
How do you reconcile those views with the fact you've been a leading critic of the president on spending, on this whole Medicare prescription drug thing, on this immigration plan? You know how true conservatives are feeling in the party about resentment because the president treats them like, well, where else are you going to go? How is that going to be reconciled this November, or will it?
You know, look, I am a major critic because I love Zell Miller because I think Zell Miller is an intellectually honest Democrat, and he tells the truth and he stands up for what he believes in.
You're talking about the outgoing Georgia Democratic senator.
I'm talking about him. I have to be an independent-minded conservative, Neil, and when my party's wrong or the conservative president's wrong, I'm going to criticize him. You're right, he is wrong on immigration, he is wrong on Medicare, he is wrong on campaign finance, but in terms of consistency and moral clarity on the #1 issue facing us today, and that is confronting evil in our time, the way Reagan confronted an evil empire in his, the way Churchill confronted the Nazi regime in his time. And I think these times are even more dangerous than both of those. This president has been consistent and right on the money, and that's a big part of what this book is about.
Indeed. It's a great read, Sean. Deliver Us from Evil. Please get off the bestseller list before the summer when my book comes out. I have a feeling you'll be on it for a year, but whatever.
Well, we'll try.
All right. Good book. Deliver Us from Evil is book. Sean Hannity, the man. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, buddy.
Well,